So here's a short story about a husband, or in this case, his soon-to-be ex-husband, who's handling things like a boss when his wife, who wanted a divorce because she wasn't happy, suddenly wants to get back together, and he's like, nope, not happening. You're going to see if you connect the dots and everything that she's having an affair, and clearly didn't work out with the guy that she wanted, and now she's back, and he's like, no way, Jose, not happening here. And I thought we'd go on to go over here, guys, once again reinforcing how so many women will keep guys as backup, as layaway, on layaway. In this situation, the guy lay was the husband, and nope, he's not doing it, and that's how things should be handled, because otherwise, this is what they do. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not getting back together with my wife? And a shout to Sean for sending in this story. It says, my spouse, a 34-year-old female, and I, a 40-year-old male, are divorcing. 1 year ago, we started having issues that resulted in us fighting and not communicating. Resentment had built up from the both of us to the point that we were unhappy. We kept mentioning a separation until one fight she said that she was done with the fights and we should divorce. Well, the next day she left on a business trip for a week, and when she returned, things were a lot better. How interesting that this whole we should divorce thing happened right before the business trip. I think she was getting down to business with somebody else, whether a coworker or a client or just bringing somebody along that she's having an affair with. Well, we didn't argue. We got along like we used to in the beginning, and this went on for about a month. So I suggested we talk about our relationship and where to go from there. Towards the end of our amicable discussion, I asked if we should stay together, and she said, I don't know. And I think the fact that I don't know means we should go ahead and get the divorce. So you can see this guy is trying. I've been seeing behind the scenes. You guys have been seeing behind the scenes what's going on here, reading between the lines. But he's trying. Well, it hurt because I really wanted to save our marriage. We were together for 13 years and have 3 kids together, the youngest being 3.5 years old. I asked if she was sure, and she told me that she still loved me, but wasn't in love with me anymore, and hasn't been for a while. Well, that's gotta freaking hurt. I asked how long she's felt this way, and she said for a few months before we found out that she was pregnant with our last child. So for like over 4 years she's felt this way? I had no idea that she was feeling that way for almost 4 years, and felt terrible that I hadn't noticed she was struggling. Dude, did she in any way try to communicate to you that she wasn't happy? Or anything like that? No, not at all. So don't feel so terrible. You're not a fucking mind reader. Up until the last year, there were no obvious clues. We went on dates, we were intimate 3 to 4 times a week, we did everything together. I could see the weight lift off her shoulders when she told me she wanted the divorce. So her behavior, if they were hooking up 3 to 4 times a week for a married couple with 3 kids, shit, you don't even have couples without kids hooking up that much a week, and they're doing stuff together. In his mind, everything was good. Unless she was getting it on with somebody else during that time period, so she's feeling happy and had to cover herself up. I don't know. So I knew it was true that she no longer was in love with me, and I respected that. I told her she needs to make sure that's what she really wants, because once I become emotionally detached, I'm done. Hear that? He made it clear. Once make sure this is what you want, sweetie, because when I'm done, I'm done. I'm like that. She said she was 100% sure, and she would get all the paperwork handled since she's better organized than me, and that is true. Bad idea. Smack. Don't let her handle everything for the divorce. At this point, then, you need to have your own freaking lawyer, because she can screw you, man. Well, it's been 6 months, and no paperwork has been filed yet. Oh, how interesting. Cut to the present, and a few days ago, when we met up to exchange the kids, she mentioned that she sees that we were both doing better mentally and emotionally, and she wants me to consider working things out again. How interesting. How she wanted a divorce, blah, 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 it's all over with, and all of a sudden, after 6 months, never mind. He told her once he's done, he's done. I think, guess what? It didn't work out with the guy that she was having her fun with on the business trip. No chance. I told her that I made it very clear that she was the one that I wanted to. She's the one that wanted the divorce in the first place, and was so much happier after she said it out loud. And I've already emotionally detached from our relationship, so my answer is no. She said it was unfair that I wouldn't even consider it for a second for answering, and she left angry. Unfair? How about the fact that she wanted to ditch him? That's unfair. How about the fact that she didn't want to try anything to work on things or communicate earlier? That's unfair too. But nope, when the guy has boundaries, when the guy stands up for himself, then it's unfair. That's a steaming pile of dog crap. A couple friends of ours say that I should think about it for the sake of the kids. But some friends say that she emotionally detached from 4 years ago without telling me. Am I the a-hole for not giving the relationship another chance without at least thinking it overnight? No, dude, you're not the a-hole. The a-hole is your soon-to-be ex-wife. The a-hole are the friends telling you what to do in your situation, even though they're not walking in your shoes. No, you gave her a chance. You told her, as clear as day, when I'm done, I'm done, basically. And she didn't care because she was off in the affair fog. She's not admitting it, but I guarantee you there's some other dude. Maybe some other chick. Maybe she likes girls. I don't know. But it's over with. So, guys, you can see right here what they do. She was hoping she didn't file the divorce papers on purpose. How many wives that are ready to go from their husbands are very eager to get the ball rolling on the divorce? Most of them. Nope, not her. Because she's keeping him on layaway, just in case it didn't work out with Shadow Tyrone on her little affair. Obviously, it fizzled, didn't work out. He wasn't a long-term prospect, or maybe she got dumped. And now she wants to work things out with husband. And the second she gets bored again, if he would take her back, the same crap would repeat. And I might add also, she's also harming the kids with all this back and forth shit. Think of how it impacts them. She doesn't care. She wants her fling. So no, he's not the a-hole. Goodbye, over and done with. Good for him. Now a few comments here, because guess what? I'm not alone in my thinking here. One guy says, not the a-hole. These business trips with coworkers, huh? It seems that betrayal often starts with this. I must admit that this too was the first thing I was thinking about, although I'm not sure, but maybe OP has suspicions. She made a decision. Instead of staying together and sorting everything out, she chose to blow everything up. Why should you go back? If you don't trust her anymore, then it will never work. Yeah, a relationship doesn't work without trust, and certainly also not without communication. Added, I almost say this was calculated from her part since she didn't file for divorce, as if she wanted to try something else before filing. And when it didn't work out, she wanted to go back to you. This is an unimaginable scenario. That's 100% what she did. The second I started reading this, I could see what was going on. Probably his update will be, oh yeah, by the way, she was hooking up with the fucking mailman. Or I don't know, or some guy that she does business with. Now the guy says here, you did try and work on it 6 months ago. You warned her you would detach and divorce went ahead. It's really frustrating that anyone is harassing you for not trying now when she wouldn't try before. She couldn't even bother to tell you where she was in her head. Can you imagine yourself truly being happy again with her? No, you wouldn't, because you wouldn't trust her. And you can't have a relationship trust. And again, let's talk about the kids. It isn't this guy being jerked around here, it's also the kids too. One more. Not the a-hole. She was cheating on you and wanted to be with the other guy, and that person more likely broke up with her, and now she's looking to go back to you. You're the safety net. Do not let her back unless you like being made a fool of. The whole comment section is full of this. You got seasoned readers here that know about bullshit. And one more. This guy says you're not the a-hole. She admitted to you that she fell out of love with you but still loved you. Despite this, she wanted to stay together and work things out since you've been together for so long and you still were in love with her. But this wasn't enough, and she moved forward with it and demanding a divorce. Now that you've been separated for 6 months, she wants to get back together. My guess is she probably had a relationship behind your back, and she asked for a divorce because she thought her new relationship was going to work out. Whether it's true or not, you kept your promise and left that relationship behind when you became detached. While it's admirable she's come to see the light, she fell out of love with you years ago, right before she became pregnant with your last child. Her not mentioning that to you so you two could work things out is very telling about her feelings towards you. There's no reason to get back together with her, especially for the kids. You're right to detach yourself from her when she left you. It's time to finish what she started by filing the paperwork, getting divorced, and moving on with your lives. This guy needs to hire an attorney and go from there. The thing is, I guarantee you, when it makes it clear we're not getting back together, that's when the claws are coming out. That's when the fangs are coming out of the freaking Harpy Queen. Because then she'll make it out to his fault that we're getting divorced. She'll tell the kids it's his fault that dad won't take me back. Even though you all heard what happened here. It's an absolute shame. But good for him. Sticking to his guns. Good luck.